Yeah, this most consistent timeline is that of the Red so far.
The Red is back again.
The Chinese horoscope thing, like the 30 years of the Red or something. Anymore
because of the loud storytelling.
I guess this is the one thing.
Hello, fans of Game of Thrones and the House of the Dragon. Welcome to our spoiler review for episode 6. And wow, I mean, we are 10 years later, and nothing significant happened. I mean, something significant happened, but kids and stuff, and it's probably very significant, but wasn't significant enough to show us. That's kind of weird. And to start with, you have this opening scene where some pregnant woman, is there, and I go like, okay, who is there? Is this like a flashback in the past? And then eventually it's just Rhaenyra with a different actor. That's kind of so weird. And I'm starting to wonder, who do I really follow in this? I mean, there's hardly any characters and faces left you can identify who seem to be somehow actively involved in doing anything.
Yeah, I was really surprised to see Rhaenyra or not Rhaenyra anymore. I really needed time to be involved again into the story because Alicent is new, Rhaenyra is new.
Daenerys is old. Very old.
Yeah, the daddy's old.
and what was that? What was that? I mean, I thought he was dead for sure. And now, I mean, it's really like lousy storytelling. If the best idea of a cliffhanger they have is always leave us wonder, okay, who is alive? Who is dead? Who had sex with whom? So are we going to just make up the story for ourselves and they're never going to tell us the story? Then we could just sit down and invent it in the first place. I mean, it's like, I mean, a cliffhanger is fine, but always creating the scenes where you don't really know what's going on. Is that their form of storytelling now?
It's a bad one. So I also felt pranked because Viserys is still alive. Apparently he never dies. And it was, the woman at the beginning, I took some time also to see that she's Rhaenyra. And apparently she messed up really badly because she has her children with this Sir Harwin guy, and she, what the fuck? I mean, sorry, but what the hell is going on there? This is so stupid. And finally she has to go away and flee from the court.
I think it makes sense in a way because I mean, she's not going to have sex with her husband who is into women. I mean,
but it was planned that he does his duty and makes some children, or at least one child, but apparently,
apparently he hasn't. But yes, you're right. It was agreed that they did have sex, and I mean, I suppose they could find a way to make it happen. But they didn't, clearly.
Apparently
so
they
were
didn't.
both lazy. And I mean, this guy does, I mean, I guess it would work if there was somebody who at least remotely looked like him. I'm not sure if these weird black, white-haired Targaryens are something that you'll find a lot. So I don't know. But I mean, they totally messed up. Yes, you're right in a way.
And she's not the only one who messed up. So now we have a situation like at the Stepstones. There will be war again, and in the council, it's Rhaenyra seems to be the only one who uses her brain. She says, "Why don't we have a watchtower there? Why don't we have troops? Why don't we have anything?" So apparently, since the incident 10 years ago, when Daemon succeeded in this war, they didn't do anything with it, and now the same situation pops up again with another war and the triarchy again, and
And
I
it
don't know.
totally devalues everything that has happened so far. I mean,
Yes.
it makes no sense. It makes no sense whatsoever, because now I was like mildly interested in this situation, and I found the situation where Daemon defeated this guy was one of the coolest and most interesting scenes we had so far. And then it was all for nothing. It has no meaning. It's like we're 10 years later, and it's such a lousy storytelling, I think, because
It is.
let's face it, why would I care? Why would I even, with this kind of setup, and I did this already, like a 3 years jump, and I go like, okay, it's 3 years, but now it's 10 years. And to be honest, it kind of keeps me from being really invested, because I go like, yeah, whatever, we're going to be like 30 years later next. I don't even know if I'm going to see those characters again, you know? What's the next jump going to be? Like, okay, 100 years later.
Well, where the positive thing is, maybe this explains why Daemon is a bit pissed off and not interested in all the stuff anymore,
because of the lousy
his
storytelling.
I guess this is the one thing, but the one that I thought of was he had this victory and he paid for it. Many people died, and no one ever did something with it. And by the way, lousy storytelling. There was one thing that Rhaenyra said. She said, quote, "fucking stairs," quote. That was right at the beginning. I thought, what the hell? This is not the language of,
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah, I also recognize that. Yeah, that how is it called in English? Swear words. There are so much, modern swear words, which I didn't really expect, and it was kind of weird to me, at least.
But wasn't this the case in Game of Thrones also? I mean, wasn't this kind of established to be just the case here? And by the way, I think
maybe it was established with Game of Thrones, but with House of the Dragon, it really kicked me out of the story.
Yeah.
Okay, so very, very interesting. But I think what kicks me out much more is actually the fact that they just jump and you can't get invested in the action. I mean, I think what would make much more sense if they had told us. I mean, supposedly the story now happens, actually, which we don't know. It could be another time jump next episode for another 10, 25 years. I don't know. But let's suppose that's where the story actually happened, and it would make sense to have told this story and then flashback maybe every now and then to tell us what happened before.
What happened to the good old narrator?
Yeah, I don't know. Something like that. I don't know.
For instance, the marriage of Lady Lena and Daemon was also a surprise. So I expected, of course, to see something of the alliance that he had with Corlys. So this is obviously the result of it, but it just came about from, it fell from heaven, so to speak. Christian?
Yeah, for me, I had a hard time at the beginning to orientate myself, because there was so much new and so much kids, and I thought at first that Rhaenyra is the mother of every kid, also of the blonde ones, but after a time I realized they are Viserys and Alicent's kids. So
the transition was handled really badly. I mean, the transition to the 10 years after time. First of all, I mean, they could have, like, in the beginning said something like, hey, Rhaenyra, and then this woman could have turned her face, so we know, okay, this is Rhaenyra now. I really believe it's probably a flashback, and we see the birth of somebody before that. I don't remember what Rhaenyra's mother looked like, but it could be any other person from this Targaryen family. I mean, it was obviously a Targaryen person or somebody from this Valyrian blood, but I didn't know who, and I did not expect this to be Rhaenyra. I mean, they could have aged the actress, I suppose. I don't know if they want to do this. I think the Queen was pretty close, actually, in terms of facial features. Wasn't so bad. But so in the first moment, I wasn't even fully aware of it, and then no, it's a different face.
Yeah,
But
this was
still,
very well done. Yes.
Hmm.
but still, I mean, it's like crazy, and it kind of jolts you out of the story, because you feel like I'm not sure with all those flash. I mean, it's the second one, 3 years, then 10 years, which is a big one. You
Mhm.
know, how much invested do I want to get? I'm, started to get to know Rhaenyra when she was 16, and not much has happened, and now she's what, 30? I don't know.
Yeah, about, I guess. Hmm. I mean,
So
she has kids now, which are about 10 years, I believe. So she needs to be
yeah,
about 30. So,
yeah, it's 10
yeah,
years later. We know.
yeah.
I mean, actually, it's 13 years later since the series started, because there
Hmm.
was a 3-year jump, and then there was a 10-year jump. So
So we left the right before she was pregnant, I guess. Otherwise, it would not work out time-wise. But
Mm.
anyway,
yeah,
it's
And
confusing.
who is that new commander of the, or not commander anymore, of the Town's Guard, who is obviously the father?
the
Did we?
King's Guard. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
Harwin,
guess I don't
Sir
know.
Harwin.
yeah.
I don't know what his official role and position was, but I didn't think he was in a position to be the commander of the King's
No,
Guard, because
no, he
otherwise he could
wasn't.
have commanded Sir Christian, who is, by the way, a super big dick.
Yeah,
You know,
Yes. So
yeah,
I mean,
he has changed so completely his
yeah.
character,
Hmm.
and now he's a follower of Alicent completely.
and he's completely frustrated. I mean, like, okay, what's this about? What's this about? I mean, he had willingly sex with her, and then he decided that's against his honor, and he asked her to run away with him, which she didn't. And okay, I mean, it's a breakup, perhaps a bad breakup, but now she tries to destroy her family. I mean, what about honor? I mean, he was presented to us as this honorable guy who wanted to commit suicide, and I
Yes.
don't know. And then what about him publicly killing somebody? Does that have no effect?
No, obviously not.
No, obviously not, because we had almost the same situation, but not in that intensity, because this time Kristen got beaten up.
Yeah, by Sir Harwin.
Yeah.
Yeah, but,
And
but why is that suddenly a big issue? I mean, obviously because it supposedly admits that he is the father, but on the other hand, couldn't he just beat him up for the insinuation? And couldn't he have just killed him, just like Sir Christian killed that other guy?
yeah, it's a bit
That would have
strange.
been easier. Then he would be gone at least.
But the break of character of Sir Kristen is so strange, because the way he treats these children, I would have never expected that from the Sir Kristen from last time, from the last episode. So it just does not work out.
It's really bad. I mean, the change in character that we've seen from Daenerys seems to be like the general rule here. Everybody, like Alicent, seems to be like a nice woman. Of course, yes, over 10 years she can change, but if you don't show us that change, I feel it's like a new character.
Hmm. Yeah, that's true. It also felt everything new to me, and I needed my time to find back into the whole series again. So
Yeah, but if you're not going to show us the development of the character that we got to know, but some other characters who supposedly are the characters 10 years later, with changes in character that are very hard, not very hard, but I mean, like, it doesn't feel like it's continuation, then why tell us the first story in the first place? Or do you have no story to tell? What's going on here? I mean, Game of Thrones did this a lot better. What's going on here?
And they just try to do some good stuff, like this weird scene when Alicent's son Aegon is at the window naked and masturbating, and I don't know. So is he really so naive that he does not realize his situation, or what was it about, or was it just
it's
some?
just trying to show us somebody who is disgusting. And the same thing about the queen. I mean, she's like, I mean, even if she
Yeah,
has a
even
rivalry,
if
to demand that the child is taken from the mother right after birth, that just makes Alicent just a character to hate. I mean, there's not even like, okay, they have some rivalry. She's just a hateful, disgusting person, and that's also coming from nowhere.
I just wondered about it, if it really was the very minute after birth that she wanted to see the child, because
Maybe there was
when
a time lapse of 10 years, so we don't know.
I mean, the
With a different
impression
child.
the impression was indeed that she wants to see the child, and this is a sort of a threat. It seems like a threat to us. And then when they finally meet, then everything's fine, and you wonder what was it about seeing the baby boy at once. So what was it about? So it was not logical. This is only one of many things. Yes.
Yeah, I believe at that point, Rhaenyra just doesn't trust Alicent, in my opinion. It could
I would totally not. I mean, somebody who makes a request like that, you'd think they might want to kill the child.
Yeah, sure.
Despite the fact that it doesn't even make that much sense, because I mean, she already had an heir. So
it's a third son.
Heir,
so
killing the third heir is kind of like, I mean, if you really want to destroy them, it's a start, I suppose. But
and he was also the baby boy was also presented to Viserys, who of course does not want to kill his.
Viserys? I mean, does he really expect that's a good idea? Can he not come to his daughter's childbed?
It was strange. Totally strange.
And they just show us gore, and they show us. I mean, it's not gore. I don't know, but it's like this trail of blood of this young mother. I mean, that's like.
It's so strange. Normally, you would expect them to come to the bed of.
It would be the normal thing to do. I mean, obviously, they create lots of characters we hate. We certainly hate Alicent's son. I mean, we don't hate him, but he's this disgusting,
It's okay, but on the other hand, we also feel empathy with him because his life could be threatened, and he's not even aware of it. So it's so many.
No empathy there. No empathy there. I mean, he's masturbating out of the window, and he's a dick, generally speaking.
Okay, you don't like him.
So I'm masturbating.
No mercy for him from you. Okay.
I really don't care about him. He is going to be like the next Joffrey or something like that.
This Larys guy was also interesting, wasn't he? So he sort of kills his father and brother. So Larys is a counselor of Alicent, and he kills his father and brother.
Yeah, I mean that again, we get a lot of character you can hate. Like they want to make every character into the next Joffrey. That we hate Alicent. I mean, at least I think, like, she behaves like this. She's a really hateful person. Her advisor, her son. So the whole, I don't know, maybe that's the next Cersei style family. I don't know. But whatever. But there's no real character where you go like, oh yeah, I really like this. I mean, there's no Ned Stark. There's no Stark family to start with. I mean, you can go like, okay, Rhaenyra a little bit, but she doesn't do anything. She's in a sense boring. Even Daemon, who was a little bit non-boring, pretty much became boring. So where's a character I want to identify with?
Yeah.
When it's starting, and I mean, let me just say this one thing. Like, if you compare it to Daenerys, I mean, she started to do something like, I don't know, she was married young as well. So she was not yet 20, perhaps, or maybe early 20s. So she started to be a cool figure. Now we have Rhaenyra. She's in her 30s, and she does nothing.
And she messed up completely.
Yeah. Depending on, I mean, partly she messed up, partly he messed up.
Yeah, maybe we don't know, but it's for now it's a sad story for her, and walking by foot away from the court is so strange. I would have expected them to have horses or carriage or whatever. So very strange.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm really interested in the next series, how they or what will happen. I mean, they went back to the castle of how is it called? The dragon.
I'm not sure they arrived there. There was this comment, but I mean, with this kind of lousy storytelling, you can't trust any information anymore. I mean, but they made it sound like they were killed on the way.
They were killed on the way.
Who were killed? Who was killed on the way?
I believe the trek to Harrenhal was the I don't even know his name yet.
The
boyfriend, the lover, the father of Rhaenyra's children.
So Sir Harwin and his father were killed at the castle by the fire. So it was not on the track, but we saw them traveling, and we saw that the two pursuers were the prisoners. So Sir Larys, went into prison and said, "Hey guys, I have a job for you." And these two guys are watching the journey to Harrenhal, and then apparently they laid fire to the both.
You mean that the fire that was laid? Because I couldn't really.
It wasn't Harrenhal. It wasn't Harrenhal.
The fire was in Harrenhal.
Yes, it was in Harrenhal. So Sir Lionel, the Hand, and Sir Harwin, his son, are from Harrenhal, and they returned to there. And the two pursuers, the ex-prisoners, they follow them, and then somehow set fire to the rooms. And so at the fire at Harrenhal, they were killed.
I recognize who the other persons. I recognize the older, the ex-Hand or the Hand, or used to the
Sir Lionel, yeah.
Sir Lionel, but I didn't recognize the other person. That was his son.
That was his son, Harwin.
Okay.
Sir Harwin, who is the father of the children of Rhaenyra.
The possible father. But,
apparently the father.
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
it's quite obvious, but yes.
Yeah. Okay. So
that was that. And so Sir Larys, the counselor of to Alicent, he killed by these two prisoner guys. He killed his father and brother, and now he expects Alicent to call on her father to come back to be so that Otto can be Hand again. And regarding the future, I guess Daemon's wife now also she committed suicide by dragon, which is kind of a nice idea. But anyway, so Daemon.
You know what would have been a cool idea? I thought this for just a moment. I mean, not a nice. It would be gory, but given the fact that some of the Targaryens apparently are resistant to fire, would have been cool if maybe the child would have survived.
Yeah, well. She's not Daenerys. Maybe they develop this only later in time.
I don't know, but I mean that would have been like at least something that would have been like a surprise ending,
Yeah, but it would have been logical actually if we see Daenerys in the future doing the same. But anyway, so Daemon lost his wife,
and I don't know if that applies to Dragonfire as well. Anyway.
Yeah. So Daemon lost his wife, and I would expect him to return to Dragonstone, where he could meet up with Rhaenyra, and maybe this love story with them.
I don't know.
Whatever.
It's kind of weird, but yeah, that maybe it would.
Maybe she kicks his ass, but I don't know.
I would expect, at least if I was writing the story, that Rhaenyra now considers the queen to be the murderer of her sort of husband or her boyfriend and the father of her children, and that creates something, but I'm not sure how she will deal with that.
I'd be curious about that, yes.
Yeah, and I'm curious how the folks about or around Alicent, because she gathers so much negative people around her, and she is so negative. I'm very curious how that turns out, if she regrets it on one point. But let's see.
Hard to say, but the whole family seems to be rather evil. Let's put it like this. But okay, I mean that would be okay if they would be like a cool villain. But I mean, are we now at the timeline where things are actually happening, or is like a little bit happening here and there? And, I'm wondering what's the point where I should actually be invested in, or should I, or do I want to still? So
Yeah.
I think that's still, the storytelling really sucks. And it's not the first time that the storytelling sucks.
Yes, it does always, yes, since the beginning, more or less. So yeah, what's going to happen next time? Well, I saw this mouse, or was it a rat at
It was a rat again.
Viserys? The rat again,
Mhm.
but I'm not sure whether I still want to believe one more time that this is a sign of the death of Viserys, because
Not
apparently he
anything.
lives forever.
Don't even go there. Even though its most consistent timeline is that of the rat so far.
The rat is back again.
The Chinese horoscope thing, like the 30 years of the rat or something.
Yeah,
Fire rat.
Okay, let's see.
Okay. How do you guys think, our viewers? What do you think about this? How do you feel about the time lapses that they presented to us? Does it kick you out of the story, or do you go like, "Hey, cool, so I see a longer development"? What's your thoughts on that? And what are you curious about?
Yeah, I'm curious if Alicent regrets her decisions at one point because she realizes how many bad people she gathers around her. So I believe I saw at least a little bit of regret in her. So
Yeah, at the end, she didn't want to get this killing done. So yeah, let's see how that turns out.
Yeah, so and I'm looking forward to what Daemon will be up to, and Rhaenyra, of course. So yeah, let's
Okay.
see.
Looking forward to the opinions of our viewers. Please write in the comments, give us your like and subscribe, and see you in the next episode. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
bye.